What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's DeMarius Jackson. Today we're going over the top 10 jazz solos to transcribe. So hopefully we know the importance of transcription. It's really important in developing your ear and really developing the essence of an individual player. For me, I like to listen to things repeatedly. I like to learn jazz standards by ear rather than learning them out of, say, the real book. I prefer to just either honestly learn it from a singer or learn it, if it's not an actual song and has lyrics, learn it from the original recording. And so in today's video, like I said, we're going to go over 10 jazz solos that were really influential in my playing and I think will help many players out there. So without further ado, here we go. Number 1 is Charlie Parker's solo on Blues for Alice. So this tune was composed in 1951 by Charlie Parker, and I think in learning it, you'll get a really good grasp over ideas to play over what we call a bird blues, which is basically a modified 12-bar blues. Number 2 on the list, Clifford Brown's solo over Joy Spring. So this is probably Clifford Brown's, or one of, I would say, Clifford Brown's most recognizable works. It starts off in the key of F major, and I believe it goes through 3 other keys. Once again, this is a very good solo to learn some language and some vocabulary over a classic bebop tune and bebop progression. Number 3, Bill Evans' solo over What Is This Thing Called Love. So this tune was written by Cole Porter in 1929. It was one of the first transcriptions that I did over for a pianist as a saxophone player. As a woodwind player, we can get stuck in the world of only transcribing our instrument, but I think it's very important to transcribe other instruments as well, not just the saxophone. You should transcribe, honestly, anything that catches your ear. Number 4, Freddie Hubbard's solo over Misty. So this tune was written, I believe, in 1954, but this album was actually, this cut of it was recorded in 1983. Back when I was 1. Anyway, Misty is one of those classic jazz standards that will probably be called at a jam session. So you should be ready for it and have some ideas over it. Coming in at number 5, Miles Davis solo over Oleo. So this was written by Sonny Rollins in 1954, I believe. I might have to double check myself. Yeah, it's 1954. So I really like, a lot of times we can get so involved with playing a whole bunch of notes over things. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. But sometimes I like simplicity. And I remember learning this solo and thinking about musicality and how that can go a long way. And of course, I had to include tune over rhythm changes in this lineup. So number 6, Sonny Rollins solo over Tenor Madness. So I remember when I was assigned this a long time ago, I had to learn the head for it. And it was such a revelation for me to go. And learning that in all 12 keys was one of the assignments I was given. I was so happy that I learned that. But of course, I had to include a classic blues progression in this top 10 list. So what would be better than Sonny Rollins solo over Tenor Madness? And coming in at number 7 is Dexter Gordon's solo over Billy Strayhorn's Take the A Train, written in 1939. Now, once again, I transcribed for a myriad of reasons. Of course, technique and learning different licks and vocabulary is one, but a lot of times I try to hone in on a certain player's sound, especially if they play, the same instrument or instrument family, as I should say. Now, although I don't play too much tenor, I love Dexter Gordon's sound and his actual approach to improvisation, so I learned a lot off of this solo. Coming in at number 8 is Miles Davis's solo over So What. So this is the first album, or the first cut on his album Kind of Blue, written in 1959, or released in 1959, I believe. But of course I had to include a modal tune in this list, so this will give you a plethora of ideas. For me, it was often hard, and it still is at times, to come up with ideas over static chords that are the same thing for a long period of time. So transcribing So What gave me some insight into that ability to transcribe over chords like that. It's a lot to say. It gave me some ideas. Coming in at number 9 is Miles Davis. Once again, he makes the list a lot. Solo over Autumn Leaves. So Autumn Leaves, if you don't know the standard already, this will give you the opportunity to go over and learn a major and minor 2-5-1s. And I believe, once again, that combination with learning the blues, if you can play the blues and if you can get a good grasp over 2-5-1s, I honestly believe you can play the majority or a lot of the jazz standard repertoire that's out there. So learn Autumn Leaves. My favorite is Miles Davis's solo on it. Hope you enjoy. And coming in last, I should say this list is in no particular order, but it is one of my favorites on there. Sonny Rollins solo over St. Thomas, a famous calypso tune written by Sonny Rollins. For me, I really love his rhythmic improvisation over this. A lot of times you can go a long way exploring rhythmic motives in your music with a static single note or one or two notes. So go check it out if you haven't already done so already. This is Sonny Rollins solo over St. Thomas.